First of all, welcome everyone to the Pipefy Basics webinar. Pipefy Basics is an introduction to the basic concepts in Pipefy structure. This webinar is focused on teaching you more about the platform and how it works, but it's not a product demonstration. The first concept we need to explore is what is a process. People have some difficulty understanding what is a process. Processes can be any recurring activity from simple tasks, such as baking a cake, to much more complex ones, such as flying an airplane. According to the definition in the Oxford Dictionary, a process is a series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. It's made of a series of sequential steps used by a person or a team to get to a desired result. In Pipefy, a process is called a pipe. The second concept we need to explore is this. Does your company have processes? The answer is yes, of course it does. All companies have processes. From budding startups to 1,000-people companies, processes are everywhere, even if they haven't been mapped or managed yet. Some examples of processes you can find in all companies are accounts payable and receivable, task management, expense reimbursement, recruitment, sales pipeline, and much more. It's very important to know what sets processes and projects apart, to understand why there is a way to manage each one. Managing processes as if they were projects and vice versa causes mistakes and inefficiencies. Projects are finite. They have a clear beginning, middle, and end. They're defined by a goal, such as building a house, or a time frame, such as a week, 15 days, or a month. Projects are unique, and once they achieve their defined limits, they will come to an end. Processes, on the other hand, are continuous. There are cycles happening repeatedly. The more you execute a process, the more you will learn about it and improve it. Due to the fact that processes are cyclical or continuous, they normally have execution rules or standards. Project and task management tools, which you can find a lot of them in the market, don't offer the possibility of establishing execution standards, which you can do in Pipefy. Pipefy is a process management platform that can be used to manage projects as well if you want to. Process management can be a scary concept. There are numerous process management methodologies. Some of them, such as Six Sigma, which we'll talk a little about, are considered way too complex for most operational teams. BPMN, or the flowcharts, is normally the first contact most people have with process management. It's great for mapping processes, so if you don't know anything about your processes, you're trying to figure out how your activities work, that's great. You can build a flowchart to understand how it works. But when it comes to managing your daily operations, it's not really intuitive or practical, and your flowcharts are probably going to be left at the bottom of a drawer. Six Sigma is a methodology focused on locating and removing errors in your execution. Its biggest downsides are its complexity and the fact that it demands a lengthy and expensive study before implementation. Mostly big companies with very expensive consultants implement Six Sigma in their departments, and it's a very good methodology, but it's expensive. Lean is a very well-known management methodology, mostly due to the TPS, the Toyota Production System. Pipefy main's interface was inspired by one of Lean's most popular tools, which is called Kanban, which we'll talk about more in a sec. And to wrap it up, SIPOC, or IPO, is our CEO's favorite process management methodology. The acronym stands for Suppliers, Input, Process, Output, and Customers. It focuses on mapping processes and understanding how they work. This here on the screen is probably the first contact everyone has had with Kanban. This is what we call a physical Kanban. So it's basically a board with 3 columns and some sticky notes attached to it. Normally, Kanban can be used in companies to manage daily tasks. So you have 3 columns to do, doing and done, and you put the tasks in the columns they belong. Kanban actually was developed in the 1950s by Taiichi Ono, an industrial engineer at Toyota. It was initially used as an inventory control system, so it was a physical card, a paper card, that went through all the stages of the production line to help control their parts inventory. So they had a paper card, and they took notes of the parts they were consuming down that line, and when it reached the end of the line, they knew exactly how many parts they consumed, so they could keep track of their inventory. In Pipefy, Kanban works the same way, except that the cards and phases are virtual. So Pipefy's main interface is a Kanban with the differential that its phases and fields are easily customizable. So Pipefy's phases are not simply columns. You can add fields to it and add rules to your process. So it's not simply to do doing and done. You can add rules to each phase of your process. One of our main benefits is that it ensures a dynamic and transparent management. Every user can easily identify what each person is doing, what needs to be done next, etc. So it's basically a board in which you can see all the tasks or all the leads in your lead management process, and you can easily see all the information. It's there for everyone to access, making your process way more transparent and easy to explore. Pipefy CEO and founder Alessio Alianso is an expert in process management and improvement. Even with all the knowledge that he has, he was facing many difficulties in managing his previous company's processes. When he faced those difficulties, he searched the market, but he couldn't find a solution that catered to his specific needs. All the software he found were either too simple and he couldn't create the standards and patterns of execution he needed, or too complex that he couldn't ensure that his team understood and was able to adopt. That was when he decided he was going to create his own software, and he defined Pipefy as an easy, dynamic, and fully customizable way to manage processes of all types. He decided he was going to free himself from his dependence of the IT department for customizing his processes, and he was going to customize his processes himself. So Pipefy is the best way to manage all your company's processes in a single platform. What sets Pipefy apart from all the other process management alternatives in the market is that it's simple and fully customizable. It empowers managers to create and manage their own processes without technical knowledge or IT support. So what Alessio wanted was exactly this, to create a solution which the managers could use on their own without depending on IT or having technical knowledge. Your company structure within Pipefy corresponds to your actual structure. So your company is gonna encompass all your team members and the processes you manage. You can have as many pipes as you need in your company. Each process is made of phases, which are the execution steps, and each phase has its own fields, which are the execution rules. This is your company. This is what it looks like. We're going to go through each of the elements in it a little bit later. You have to think of your company inside Pipefy as your actual company. How many processes does it take to run your operations in real life and achieve your results? That's how many pipes you have in Pipefy. You can have as many pipes as you need to ensure that your operations are running smoothly. Inside Pipefy, your company's processes are called pipes. Pipefy enables users to create pipes to manage all types of processes, from simple ones such as task management to more complex, such as managing a supply chain. A phase is a step in the execution of a process. According to the Kanban methodology, cards move laterally from left to right through the pipe's phases. Pipefy's structure enables users to change the settings of how a card can be moved through the pipes, making it possible to skip phases when managing nonlinear processes. So let's suppose that you want your process to be flexible and you need to move cards from the first phase to the second or the third phases. You can set up your pipe so that Pipefy allows you to do that. You don't need to follow a linear movement. You can follow a linear movement, but you can also set up the movements as it fits your process best. Fields are the bricks that build your pipe's form and phases. You can think of fields as Lego bricks. So they help bring your pipe's phases and your entire pipe together. The phases were your process's execution steps. and the fields are your process's rules. Fields exist to let people know what needs to be done at a certain phase. So every time a card arrives at a specific phase, they're going to see the exact same fields, and they're going to have to input different information. So for example, this card here is currently on step 1. It refers to a specific person, so we're going to have to add this person's email address and this person's phone number. So even though the fields are identical, the information we're going to input into it is going to be different. You can use different types of fields to give instructions or ask for specific information. The fields help establish and enforce execution standards to help prevent mistakes, inefficiencies, and misunderstandings. A card is a visual representation of an activity in a pipe. Cards can represent different things in different processes. In a sales pipeline, for example, each card represents an opportunity. In a purchase process, a card is an item to be purchased and for then on. Now we're going to quickly move on to the elements in your company dashboard, your pipe dashboard, and a card so that you know what each of these icons mean. Number 1 is your company's name. From any screen in Pipefy, you can click here on your company name or on Pipefy's logo to be redirected to this screen here. When you click on 2 pipes, you're gonna see this view here, the view for all your pipes. When you click on 3, you're gonna be redirected to your databases. So database is a feature that enables you to create databases. You can access and add data from your pipes, so you can create customer databases, supplier databases, employee databases, and you can use that information from your pipes and also add information from your pipes using connections or connection fields. Number 4 are your company reports. You can use this specific feature to combine information from 2 or more pipes in a table and filter that data so you can see, for example, you want to see all cards from a specific person from more than one pipe, you can use the company reports for that. Number 5 is the apps and integrations section, which you use to access advanced features such as automation and email management. Number 6 is where you click to access our in-app chat and talk to our support team. Number 7 is where you access your notifications. Number 8, your profile picture here, is where you click to open a menu with the following options. You can access My Tasks, which is another different screen where you can view all cards that were assigned to you. So you were marked as assignee in a card. The card is going to be shown in My Tasks. All cards that are late, expired, nearing due date, or overdue are also going to be displayed in your My Tasks. You can see your user settings. You can access our knowledge base. You can access the company settings if you're the company admin. You can switch company or log out. Number 9 here is where you click to invite new members to your company. 10, to access your company's members and view their permissions or change their permissions if you're allowed to do that. Number 11 is where you click to check your company's activity log. So it's just like a timeline. We have an activity timeline, just like in Facebook, you have a timeline of all your activities. Here you're going to have an activity log of everything that went on in your pipes, in your cards, so you're going to see everything that happened during the last few hours or days, depending on how much activity you have in your pipes. Number 12, you click to access My Tasks as well, and you can see here how many cards have been assigned to you. Number 13, the little star icon marks that this specific pipe was marked as favorite. When you mark a pipe as favorite, it's going to be displayed in front of all other pipes, independently of alphabetical order, numbers, or anything else. This is a personal setting, so the pipes I choose as my favorites are going to be shown in front of all others just for myself. So if you have your own personal tasks pipe, you can make it your favorite and it's going to be displayed in front of all others just for yourself. Number 14 here, the little padlock icon marks that this pipe is private, so it can only be accessed by this pipe's members or company admins. Number 15 here is where you click to add a new pipe. Now onto the pipe dashboard. You're gonna see some elements are common to the company dashboard, such as here, 5 through 7 are the same elements. 1 and 2 are your company name and the pipe name. Number 3 is the Kanban view. So this is what we're seeing right now. The view with all the phases and the cards in them is the Kanban view. Number 4 is the reports view. The reports view is a table view with all the information in all your cards displayed in a customizable table, so you can choose which fields you want to display and filter them by any aspect you want. So you can filter them by date, by assignee, by the information in your fields. 5 through 7 are the same options in the company dashboard. 8 is where you click to invite new members to your pipe. 9 is where you click to see your pipe's members and their permissions. 10 is where you click to see your pipe's metrics. 11 here is where you click to view your card's activity log, your pipe's activity log. 12 is where you click to filter your cards by either assignee, label, or to search in them by the information in the fields uses title. So this is the title of the card, or in the subtitles. These are the subtitles. These fields can be selected in your start form and pipe settings. You can use the filter to search for the information in your cards, title and subtitles. And here the gear icon is where you click to open the sidebar with your pipe settings options. Number 14 displays the name of the phase and the amount of cards currently in it. Both 15 and 17 is where you click to open the start form and create a new card. And 16 is where you click to open a menu with the options to edit the phase, create a new phase, move phase to the left or right, edit phase movements, or delete phase. When deleting a phase or deleting a field, because every time you delete a phase, for example, if I were to delete this phase meeting, both these cards that are in it would be gone as well. Or if I deleted this email here, it's an email field, all the emails added to all the cards would be lost as well. So it's very important to be very careful when deleting fields or phases. A card is divided into two sides. The left side displays the information added in the form and previous phases, and customizable items you can choose, such as emails, checklists, comments, etc. The right side displays the fields in the current phase plus the card's activity log. Number 1 here shows the card title. The card title is a field you select in your start form settings that is going to be used as the card's title. It is necessarily a field in your start form because it's going to be selected when you create your card, and it can be modified from in any phase. So every time you click here, you can modify your card's title. Number 2 here is the phase the card is currently in. Number 3, when you click on these 3 dots here, you open the options to edit the phase, delete the card, or create field conditionals to this phase. Numbers 4 through 11 are what we call the top buttons. These are fixed information that are displayed according to the settings, unless there's a field of these types in this phase. So let's suppose I have a due date field in this phase, and it has the option to sync with the fixed field. So the fixed field is displayed here, and I have a due date field here. It's not going to be displayed here. Or if I click on this little plus sign here, and I'm going to see a list of all these fields, and I'm going to choose not to display or to display these fields. These options are due date, assignee, label, attachments, checklists, comments, and email. The email templates is only going to be displayed there if there's any email template set up in this phase. Number 12 displays all the fields in this phase. Number 13 is where you click to add more fields to this phase. 14 is the area to add quick comments. So just type a quick comment and hit post without having to access the comments area. And if you choose clicking here on the plus sign to not display the comments area, this here is not going to be displayed as well. 15 is the card's activity log. It displays everything that happens to this card since it was created. So you can see every information that was added to the card's fields, every time it was moved, when it became late. You can see all the card's activity here. You can scroll down and see everything from the moment it was created. Here, 16 is where you click to move the card to other phases. 17 is the information in the previous phases. And 18 is where you click to customize what you see on the left side of the card. So you can click here and choose to see all your checklists directly on the left side when you open the card, or your email templates, or if you have, let's suppose, if you have email templates, they're going to be displayed here, or your emails, you can choose to display everything here. Before creating a new pipe inside Pipefy, there are a few things that you should consider according to the SciPoc methodology. First of all, you should realize what is your process's input. What does it take to set your process in motion? This is the information you're going to add to your start form. So you're going to ask for all the information that may be relevant to avoid rework without increasing friction with unnecessary fields. Let's suppose we have an expense reimbursement pipe. What information do I need to create a new expense reimbursement request? I need my employee's name. I need to know what he spent on. I need to know how much he spent and the day he spent the money on, and the category of the expense. That's it. That's everything I need to know. I don't need to know more details if he paid by credit card, why he spent that money. I don't need to add unnecessary fields because that's going to make it harder for him to fill all the fields. So I'm only going to ask for all the necessary information and leave unnecessary fields aside. Let's skip the steps and move straight to the output. So what is the expected result of our process? In the case of our expense reimbursement process, we want to reimburse the expense. So what is our success metric? Maybe we want to know how fast we are processing our requests. Measuring results is necessary for improving the process. We can't improve something which we are not measuring. So if we don't know the results of our process, we don't have any way to improve it. Now that we know what's the point A, the input, and the point B, the output, we can figure out what does it take to go from one point to the other. Pipefy enables users to create as many phases and fields as necessary to ensure their execution. Whenever you're creating a new process, you need to think about the data you want to extract from it, using the reports feature I mentioned, for example. You can only extract the data you've added to the process. So think carefully before you build a process inside Pipefy. Grab a piece of paper and start writing down your process's input, your process's output, and what are the execution steps. You can do that straight into Pipefy because it's that easy. Or if you're a visual person like myself, you can use a piece of paper for that. Or you can even, draw a diagram if it makes it easier for you. Whichever way you do it, you need to have all the information when you're building a new process, because that's what's going to make your process work. Pipefy is a great tool, but if you don't have all the information you need, your process is not going to work. So you need to work on it. Creating a new pipe is really simple. You're going to access your company dashboard and click on the Create New Pipe option. You can choose between using one of our pre-designed process templates or creating a new process from scratch. Either way, you're able to customize everything about your process, from fields to phases to adding email templates, creating connections, adding automations. you're going to make your process your own. You can use one of our hundreds of process templates we have in our template store, which you can access in pipefy.com/templates, or you can start a new process from scratch. The start form is your pipe's front door. It's where all the necessary info to kick off your process, the input will be inserted. You need to make sure, again, you ask for all the necessary information you need without unnecessary fields to reduce friction. We have an advanced feature called public form, which enables you to share your pipe's start form. So you can let people from outside your pipe, even outside of Pipefy, create cards in your process. To do that, you need to click here on share, and another window will pop up, and you're gonna turn on the feature, and you're gonna receive a URL. With that URL, you can share it with people, and they can create new cards in your process. So every time people fill the fields in your public form, new cards are going to be created in your pipe. That's really practical for processes as the one I mentioned, expense reimbursement. Everyone in the company must be able to create expense reimbursement requests, for example, but they don't need to be all members of that specific process. So that's why I just shared the form with them and let them create cards without being members of it. There are numerous field types you can add to your pipe's form and phases. The field you select will depend on the intended use, type of information you're asking for, format validations, etc. All fields have a title here, which is the field's name, which goes here. So this is a vertical radial field, is the title. And they can also have a description, which is an explanation or instruction about the field, which is this text here. It's displayed under the field's title in light gray, and it can also have a help text, which is this one here. You can add further explanation or instructions about the field. You can also include images, etc. For example, if you have a label select field in which people can select the priority of their requests, you can add an explanation about what each label means, so that they're going to select the right priority level for their requests. You can use the help text for that. And for example, if it's a multiple choice field like this one, it's going to have this part here where you can add the option. Also, if you scroll down this side, you're going to see the field settings where you can choose if the field is a mandatory field, so that they're gonna have to necessarily fill that field before moving the card to the next phase. So they're not going to be able to move the card forward without filling that field. You can choose the minimal view option, which displays the whole field as a link. So it's only going to display the field's title as a link. When you click on it, it opens the entire field, and you can also choose whether the field is editable in other phases. With that option, you can choose whether you want people to be able to edit the field in other phases and add information to it, or if you only want them to add information to the field in the phase they belong to. As I mentioned, we have many different types of fields, 17 to be more specific, and I'm going to quickly go over all of them so you know which ones you need to use in your process. The first one is assignee select. This field assigns the card to one or more team members. When you assign a card to someone, the person's going to be notified, and this card is going to be displayed in their My Tasks. So they're going to know that activity belongs to them, and they need to take care of that. Number 2 is the attachment field. You use it to attach files to the card, and it has a detail that you can add format validation. So you can add a rule that people can only add PDF files to this field, for example. Number 3, the checklist. It's horizontal or vertical. It's a multiple choice field in which you can select more than one option. Number 4 is the connection field, which you use to create a connection between two pipes or a pipe and a database to search or create cards or records. This field is very useful, for example, if you have in your start form, you want people to search for their employee record in an employee database. So you can use a database field for that. Sorry, a connection field for that. Number 5 is a currency field in which you use to add currency values. It's a simple number field with 2 decimals. Number 6 is a date field with the options of date, date time, or due date. The due date is very important because when you add a due date, it's displayed here on the upper left corner of the card, and it also is what sets the overdue alert. So if you can have automation rules that are triggered by the overdue alert. So you're going to need to use the due date field for that. Number 7 is the document field. Number 8 is the email field with format validation. Number 9 is the ID. The ID field, you don't need to fill it. It automatically generates a number, which is the card's unique ID. Number 10 is label select, which enables you to select from the pipe's existing labels. Number 11 is number, and 12 is phone. Number 13 is radio. It's a multiple selection field to choose one option from. It can be either horizontal or vertical. 14 is select. It's a drop-down menu list with multiple options to choose one from. What sets select and radio apart is that select is a better option when you have more alternatives to choose from. So if you have a state list or a city list, select is a better option if you don't want to make your phase or your form too long. Number 15 is a statement field. You can use the statement field to add instructions to your phase. You can also use some markdown in the description of the statement field to add an image to your phase or to add a URL to your phase. So it's very useful. 16 is the text field. It can be short or long. And 17 is the time field. Besides all that, Pipefy offers many advanced features and apps that help improve your processes and save a lot of time. Some of these features are automation, reports, database, email templates, conditional rules, connections, mobile app, SLA control, integrations, and much more. We also have some native integrations with Slack, Google Hangouts, and many other apps. Thanks everyone for joining today's Pipefy Basics webinar. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out via the in-app chat or directly to me in my email. Once again, thanks everyone for joining. See you all in our next webinars.